Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
This is your brother Nafis Abu Zayd.
This is Isa Abu Isa in another episode of The Night Shift. We came with this program again, but I was going to say this. We came with this program to fight against cult characteristics, to defend Islam from Hizbiyya and Haddadiyya.
Now, tonight's show, brothers and sisters, is to help us understand something that's very vital and very fundamental, and that is the understanding of Athars. Aathar is the plural of the word Aathar. Okay, now Aathar can refer, and not to get too technical because we don't like to get too technical,
No,
but Aathar can refer to a hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, or it can refer to a statement or action of a Sahabi or a Tabi'i or a Tabi'i. Okay, we want you to know that Aathars in and of themselves are not to be used as evidence. So today's topic going to be discussing the fact that Aathars in and of themselves cannot be used as evidence. Our beloved brother, I have a, I don't know.
I would say one of the reasons that we're going to do this because this particular group of people who using Salafiyya and they use a lot of Aathar, they stockpile Aathar, and basically their manhaj and their program is built upon Aathar. And it's built upon this way of using Aathar against other Muslims. So now we're going to show you what is an Aathar, how do we use them, when can they be used as proof, and when they're not used as proof, and are they proof within themselves?
Tayyib. So our brother Abu Hassan Malik, and may Allah preserve him, he have posted a tweet on Twitter, and he mentioned that it was mentioned about the harshness of Imam Ahmad ibn Abdullah, okay, against the people of bid'ah, of innovation. And he mentioned that in his biography it was stated that Abu Abdullah Muhammad ibn Ahmad said Abu Ja'far Ahmad ibn Abdullah denounced the people of innovation. And he was harsh with them. He used to humiliate them, seeking out their faults. He was quick to bring harm to them and was coarse with them. He would frighten them off if he was able to do so, and was never garrulous with them. Each and every one of them feared for himself because of him. He never flattered them whatsoever, nor did he compromise with them. If he discovered a reprehensible act from one of them or witnessed the person's deviation from the sunnah, he would expose him, declare his innocence from him, and revile him in gatherings. He would instigate the innovator until he either ruined him or until the innovator left of his evil way and corrupt creed. He was tireless upon this, exerting himself in this, seeking the face of Allah until Allah called him back. First and foremost, brothers and sisters, there's a lot that can be said about this particular statement, or in the biography or the citing of the harshness of Imam Ahmad ibn Abdullah, rahimallahu ta'ala. First and foremost, he was an imam, and imam have many meanings, but here he was a imam. And we're not talking about an imam of a masjid. That's not the meaning here.
He's an imam in religion.
Nah. So he also, that means he was a scholar, okay? So in the time in which he lived in, he might have been dealing with, we talking about full-fledged innovators, deviants that have opposed the usul, the fundamentals, as we talked about before in our videos, that the Salaf, they have made ijma' that whoever goes against the usul,
kitab, sunnah, wa ijma'.
And the usul can be in belief,
in actions,
and some of those masail of amaliyah, those acts that can be done. So here, these why they took stern positions towards these individuals. Tayyib, we're going to quote a line of poetry today, just to establish.
Before you start, one thing I want to say about this Aathar too. People have to kind of have some rajula, some manhood. Who are you talking about in this particular Aathar? So you're saying this Aathar, you're throwing it out there. Are you applying it to me? Are you applying it to the brother Abu Zayd? Are you applying it to Mufti Munir, Tahir Why? Who are you applying it to? Because that's a real harsh Aathar. So be a man about it, because we come on here and we mention who we're talking about, and we mention who we disagreeing with. So at the end of the day, if you're going to mention this Aathar, just don't throw it out there and then make the commenters, then also they go apply it to everybody they find who's not with you. That's a real dangerous situation.
Also, you got to keep in mind, we're going to put the best spin on it. Let's just say our brother Abu Hassan Malik wasn't intending anyone with this this tweet. Let's just say that. Let's just say, however, what is the how can I say it? What is being projected to the community once you put a tweet up like this? What is they supposed to understand from this? That we do not somehow sympathize with people who are upon innovation, and we don't, for example, we're harsh towards them. We humiliate them. We revile them in every chance we get. We be a thorn in their side. However, this has a place and it has a context and it has its people and it have those who know how to properly apply it. We're not in a society, especially amongst the communities of the Salafis we're dealing with, that, and Allah knows best, that their innovation is so extreme to this level. Now we have some people within those who say they're Muslims, like the Ahmadiyya, who actually believe that there is another prophet after the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now this here understanding, as the ulama have mentioned, this is kufr. This is disbelief. This is not from my statement. It's the ulama. They have understood and investigate this matter, that whoever believes that there's another prophet after the Prophet ﷺ is kufr, because they're denying and belying a verse of Allah Azza wa Jal. Well, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, مَا كَانَ أَبَاؤُكُمْ مُحَمَّدٌ رِجَالُكُمْ مَا كَانَ أَبَاؤُكُمْ مَا كَانَ أَبَاءُ أَحَدٌ مِّن رِجَالِكُم. So Muhammad is not a what? He is not a father to any of you men. وَلَكِنْ رَسُولُ اللَّهِ. However, he's a messenger of Allah. وَخَاتِمَ النَّبِيِّينَ. He's the seal of the prophets. So the way that they try to explain khatim here, they say that the word khatim can mean a ring or a seal, a ring that goes around. However, they try to explain that Qadian is somehow he's the next prophet. I think they was up when they like 4 Khilafah. So however, anyway, they committed kufr. Okay, the scholars agree that they committed kufr and have left out of the fold of Islam with this type of belief set. So any people that have some type of deviation this strong, my question is, do you want us to believe from this statement of Imam Ahmed, from our Imma, do you want us to believe from his statement that the likes of our brothers, alhamdulillah, that you do not agree with, whether or not whoever we say, we always say them, whether it be Tahir Wide, whether it be Shadid, Ali, whatever, do you want to believe that they somehow are of this level in innovation? Like
the Shiite masjid here in Philadelphia, or the Ahmadiyya place of worship, or 45th Street. You telling me that this Aathar applies to Tahir Wyatt just like it will apply to Ahmadiyya? You got to be careful.
Tayyib. So we're going to bring some kalam from a famous poem that deals with the i'tiqad Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah, the creed of Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah. And we're going to use this kalam, inshallah ta'ala, of Sheikh Fawzan, Hafidhullah, one of the leading scholars of our time, and his explanation to this line of poetry. The poetry states, وَدَعْ أَنْكَ أَرَاءَ الرِّجَالِ وَقَوْلَهُمْ فَقَوْلُ رَسُولُ اللَّهِ أَوْلَى وَأَشْرَحُ. This is taken from the famous poem as Al-Ha'iyya. And it is one of the lines of poetry that says, leave off the opinions of men and their statements. So the statement, therefore the statement of the Messenger of Allah, it is more preferable, and it is that which is more, it explains and is more clearer and elusive. So Sheikh Fawzan, Hafidhullah, he said, هذه مسألة أخرى وهي أنه لابد أن يكون هناك خلاف بين علماء في المسائل. And this is something we must understand. This is another issue. And what is that issue? Is that it is a must that there would exist some difference of opinion amongst the ulama, amongst the scholars. They will have difference of opinion. هذا يقول. For example, we'll find one scholar saying something is permissible, and we'll find another saying something is impermissible based off of their ijtihad or based off of that which they have of evidence. He said, likewise, there have occurred difference amongst the ulama concerning some creedal issues. He said, masail i'tiqadiyya, or some issues that deal with actions, or issues that dealt with mu'amalat, transactions, interactions. And he said, no doubt that there must occur differing. Differing will occur. Okay? He said, وَهَذِهِ طَبِيعَةُ الْبَشَرِ. And this is something that we know that is the what? The nature of man. The nature of man himself is that he's going to do what? He's going to differ. So for the brothers and sisters, you can take this as a point that for those who say, you brothers with the videos, y'all are troublemakers, y'all causing problems. No, you have to understand that there will be differing. If it's differing amongst the ulama, there will be different amongst the students. There will also be different amongst the am, the common folks. There will be differing. Why? Because this is a nature of man. However, Allah Jalla wa Ala said, وَلَا يَزَالُونَ مُخْتَلِفِينَ إِلَّا مَنْ رَحِمَ رَبُّكَ. Al-ayah. Allah Jalla wa Ala, He says here that you would not cease, or they would continue to differ, except for the one whom your Lord has mercy upon.
Nah.
One whom your Lord has mercy upon. Surah Hud. The Shaykh continues. He said, وَلَكِنْ لَا يَجُوزُ لَنَا أَن نَأْخُذَ مَا نُرِيدُ مِنَ أَقْوَالِ وَمَا يُوَافِقُ رَكْبَتَنَا وَشَهْوَتِنَا. He said, however, it is not permissible now for us to come along and take what we like from statements or opinions, whatever agrees with our desires.
SubhanAllah.
So if we hear a scholar speaking about an issue, and that issue somehow appeals to our desires or calls to our desires, we don't take that statement without any evidence, and only solely based off the fact that it somehow aligns with what we desire.
And then after you do that, then you make it an issue of allegiance and disallegiance. You take what you learn from that scholar, and just because it agrees with you, and then you make everybody else bonding upon that statement. And if they don't come to that statement, they don't agree with you, then you take them out of Salafiyya.
Naam. And he continues. He said, وَإِنَّمَا نَأْخُذُ مِنَ الْأَقْوَالِ مَا قَامَ عَلَيْهِ دَلِيلٌ مِنْ كِتَابِ اللَّهِ وَسُنَّةِ رَسُولِ اللَّهِ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَسَلَّمَ. He said, we only take from the statements and opinions of men. Here we're talking about ulama, scholars. We only take from the scholar's statements so that we can understand this clearly. He said, that which is established upon evidence. Then he state the sources for evidence. From the book of Allah or the sunnah of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Not Aathar. So again, let's go back now. From the book of Allah and the sunnah of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Not Aathars.
Now, and also we want to advise our brothers in Salafi Manchester Center. You know, barakallahu feekum. May Allah reward you. But the statement that Sheikh Rabi' Hafizahullah Ta'ala is a manhaj, is a perfect, complete manhaj, this goes against what Sheikh Fawzan is just saying. That statements of scholars have to be based upon evidence, meaning a scholar's going to say something sometimes that's not based upon evidence.
No.
So how can you say someone's a complete manhaj other than the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and the messengers before them? How can you say that somebody less than a prophet or a messenger can be complete anything?
Okay, so having good thoughts about scholars, we're going to clear it up a little bit. It's not the norm that a scholar would say something about evidence deliberately.
No.
Okay? If he's a scholar that's trustworthy and a scholar that is strong, we don't believe that he's going to say something without evidence. However, that evidence in and of itself might not be strong, it might be weak, it might be based off what has reached them, so forth and so on. So we're not saying that the scholars to speak, just out of their desires because they want to. So we want to make sure we clear that up.
Not the scholars from Ahlul Sunnah. The scholars from Ahlul Bid'ah, they do.
No, the people Hawa, they don't even work with evidence.
Yeah,
so
they don't work with evidence.
They're excluded from this conversation.
Nah.
Inshallah. So he continues. He said, Allah says in the Quran, okay, what is he talking about? The fact that we take people's statements based upon Dalil, right? Whether they be scholars, students, or whoever. Allah tells us in the Quran, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, addressing the believers, or you who believe, Ati'u Allah, obey Allah. Ati'ur Rasul, obey the messenger. Mutlaqan, absolutely obey Allah and his messenger. Then he stops and say, Wa ulil amri minkum, and those who have been given authority over you. The ulama of tafsir, they said that this is broken into two types. You have the umara, or the ulama. Those who have been given authority are the leaders, okay, and it's the ulama, the scholars. Then Allah says something after that. He said, فَإِن تَنَازَعْتُمْ فِي شَيْءٍ, if you differ or dispute about anything, this is what we call a shart. This is a condition now. Okay, it's a condition going to come in. فَإِن تَنَازَعْتُمْ فِي شَيْءٍ, if you differ about anything, فَرُدُّوهُ, then return it back. إِلَى Allah, to Allah, إِلَى رَسُولِ, and to the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Pay attention to this. He did not say to the statement of so-and-so. He did not say return it back to the judge. He did not say return it back to the ruler. He said return it back to Allah, meaning the book of Allah, and to the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Then he placed the condition, in kuntum tu'minuna billah. If you truly believe in Allah in the last day, wa yawm al-akhir, then this is what you're going to do when you have a dispute.
So Iman is connected to this.
Exactly.
And also the verb, the fact that Allah didn't use the verb again. Say ati'u Allah wa ati'u Rasul wa uli amri minkum. He didn't say ati'u umri amri minkum. He didn't say ati'. He didn't use the verb. That shows that it's not mutlaqan, that it's conditional.
Meaning it's not unrestricted or absolute.
It's not.
The obedience with Allah and His Messenger is absolute. As far as the obedience with and that's a good point you just brought too, Abu Isa. The obedience with the rulers is not absolute.
No.
It's not absolute.
Or the scholars.
They don't hold, this shows us, alhamdulillah, that it doesn't hold the same position. Kitab was sunnah. Okay, and these are, like if you think about it, these are I don't want to say real simple, but it's one-on-one.
Yeah.
Actually, if you think about it, it's actually one-on-one. These are one-on-one basics that we have learned, but somehow because of our vulnerability and our so trusting and so loving the people that teach us, we somehow say, okay, he's good for it. I trust him. If he said it, then no, we can't do that. And this religion, brothers and sisters, not I trust him. No. His statement had to be based upon Dalil. We can't say I trust him and I'm gonna leave it like that. Oh, what happened? How you do this? Sheikh so and so said. I'm gonna leave it at that. No. What was Sheikh so and so evidence? Pay attention. He continues. So he said, when he say refer back to Allah, I mean the book of Allah, I mean the Quran. When he said Rasul, he said that then when the Prophet ﷺ was alive, you refer back to him, and he was the one who was asked about it. But after when he passed away and Allah SWT took his soul, then we return back to his sunnah. So it's as if he is alive because his sunnah is present. Well, he had that. For this reason, we see that the Prophet ﷺ said, فَإِنَّهُ مَنْ يَعِيشُ مِنْكُمْ فَسَيَرَى اخْتِلَافًا كَثِيرًا. From amongst you, whoever lives from amongst you, talking to his companions, whoever lives from amongst you is going to see many differing. But then what did he say? وَعَلَيْكُمْ بِسُنَّتِي وَسُنَّةِ خُلَفَاءِ الرَّاشِدِينَ مَهْدِيِّينَ. But upon you is my sunnah and the sunnah of my rightly guided khalifas. Okay? So Sheikh Fawzan could quote another hadith. He said, the Prophet ﷺ said, إِنِّي تَارِكٌ فِيكُمْ. Indeed, I have left amongst you مَا إِن تَمَسَّكْتُمْ بِهِ. That which if you hold firm to it, لَن تَدِلُّوا بَعْدِي. You will never go astray after me. Kitabullah wa sunnati. Not statements of scholars.
Yep.
And this goes back to what the brothers in Manchester said. They said that Sheikh Rabi' is a manhaj. And he didn't continue their statement. He said that also they said whoever speaks against Sheikh Rabi', he's what?
ثُمَّ لَيْسَ سَلَفِي ثُمَّ لَيْسَ سَلَفِي ثُمَّ لَيْسَ سَلَفِي.
They say he's not a Salafi, he's not a Salafi, he's not a Salafi. Now, if anyone speak against any scholar in a disrespectful manner, then this is poor adab with the ulama, and this is eating the flesh of the ulama. However, does this take a person, if he speak ill of the ulama in that manner, does this remove a person and excludes a person from Ahlul Sunnah? This depends, okay? This depends now, because now we got to go back to what the ulama said in terms of that. But for one ulama, for one scholar, to say that he's a whole manhaj, okay? We know that Allah Jalla wa Ala had talked about his legislations within the Quran, and he used the word manhaja, okay? And we know that the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, we know that that which he was upon, his companion was upon, was a manhaj.
Exactly.
Okay? And manhaj have different meanings. So however, when you say that the scholar is a manhaj himself, and that whoever speaks about him have left the fold of Salafiyah, we have to weigh that now. That's what you're going to see in the words of Sheikh Fawzan. I'm not trying to be too long. We're going to get to the point of the Aathars, inshallah. So let's speed it up a little bit. Look what the Sheikh said. He said, فَلَا يَجُوزُ أَن نَأْخُذَ مِنَ أَقْوَالِ مَا نَشْتَهِي أَوْ يُوَافِقُ رَقَبَاتِنَا أو أهواءنا أو نقول هذا أوسع للناس وأيسر للناس ومرون مطلوبا. He said, therefore it's not permissible that we take from the statements or the opinions of scholars that whatever we desires or whatever agrees with our desires, okay? Or we say that this is something that is vast and is open for the people. This is easier for the people. He said, rather the kalam, the speech like this is batil. It is false. He said, كثير كما يقول كثير من الكتاب اليوم وأصحاب أهواء. And this is such statements such as has been made or issued by the people who are writers, people who write books and such like that,
and stuff like
or journalists and stuff like that, and the people of desires. He said they say al-ikhtilafu rahmah. They say that differing is a mercy. To differ is a mercy. He said, and we say, meaning the people of the Sunnah, al-ikhtilafu laysa bi rahmah. Differing is not mercy. Al-ijtima'u huwa rahmah wa ittifaqu huwa rahmah. Rather, uniting is mercy. Okay? Agreeing is mercy. As for differing, then there's a punishment and it's evil. Just as it was stated by Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, al-khilafu sharrun. Differing is evil. He said, فاختلاف موجود ولكن ليس معنى ذلك أن نكون هذا من سعة الدين لأن الدين ليس في أقوال العلماء وإنما الدين بالدليل. الله أكبر.
That's it.
That's it. You hear how the Shaykh is speaking? SubhanAllah. Look what the Shaykh is saying. He says here that differing is present. No doubt, there are differences of opinions that is present. However, we don't mean by that we say هذا من سعة الدين. Okay? لأن الدين ليس في أقوال العلماء. Because the religion is not restricted to the what?
No.
The statements of the scholars.
It's not based on the statement of the scholars.
It's not based on the statements of the scholar. Sheikh so-and-so said. Sheikh Fulan said. As we heard our brother Khadijah so eloquently put it. Sheikh Al-Albani said. Sheikh Muqbil said. Sheikh so-and-so said. The Sheikh said, this is our manhaj. This is not our manhaj.
Sheikh Salaf is explaining our manhaj.
Our manhaj is Qala Allah, Qala Rasulullah, Fahm al-Sahaba. That's our manhaj. Understanding of the Sahabas to these texts. And we understand that the ulama are those who help us understand the text. Not Sheikh so-and-so said, Sheikh Al-Albani said. That's not our manhaj. Pay attention. Even though I might believe that the brother didn't attend by that statement of his, he might didn't attend by that statement of his, what we're implying, however, it's easy to fall into that. Because you can leave off that which is what? The balance. Look what the Prophet ﷺ said. He guaranteed it. He said, "Inni tarakun fikum," and he used the ismu fa'il, the ismu fa'il. He said, "Indeed, I have left for you amongst you. I left for amongst you that intamassaktum." He used a shart, a condition here. If you hold firmly to it, lan. Now look what he used. For those who study in Arabic, lan tadallu ba'di. You will never go astray after me.
Never.
Okay? You will never go astray after me. What did he say they was? Were they the statements of the scholars?
What statement of companions?
Were they the statements of companions? La. Were they the statements of the tabi'i? La. Were they statements of the atba' tabi'i? La. Were they statements of the a'imma? La. They were statements of Allah and His Messenger. Period. Allah and His Messenger. The Shaykh continues. I want to stop, brothers, but the Shaykh continues.
We're going to say this too, but the ikhtilaf too, you got to understand what ikhtilaf is not talking about the issues that can be ikhtilaf in some branch issues. The ikhtilaf that's not permissible is the ikhtilaf in aqidah. And that brings me to my point before our brother continues. Bring me to my point. The ikhtilaf that's madhmoom, right, is when you're dealing in the usul.
This praiseworthy ikhtilaf.
This praiseworthy ikhtilaf or differing is in the usul, the kitab, the sunnah, ijma', the stuff that the scholars, the generations before, those generations all agreed upon that these are from the religion, these things that we can't differ in, right? So I'm asking this now. The differing that these brothers have, it was Hassan Malik.
Al-Ha'iyah. We are reading from the book known as Al-Ha'iyah.
Or it's
Al-Ha'iyah.
Or it's Hassan Somali, or any of those brothers, right? Or Abu Khadija. The difference you're having with, let's say, Mufti, let's say Tahir, let's say Ali Davis, Abu Sajid, or Maktab Ibn Taymiyyah, whoever, is the ikhtilaf, is these things in the usul? Or because somebody made an ijtihad because he wants to do dawah this way in his ijtihad, or dawah this way? Are these things that are from the ikhtilaf that's mafmoom, from the disparity differing? Is it? In reality? Show your proof you're truthful.
Well, first and foremost, we got to understand that when the ulama, they talk about ikhtilaf, they make down as three types. You're going to have what we call ikhtilaf wa tafahm. You're going to have difference of opinion upon the text and how the scholars understand that text. Then you're going to have what we call ikhtilaf wa tanawwu'. Then you might have what we call differings, where it's a variance of different wordings of the text, and that the scholars might differ in terms of the wordings of the text because it's a different variety of the text. Okay, and how they understand the text. These are the two that are permissible. Okay, in terms of not usul. Now, we're not talking about usul al-i'tiqad, because those things are firmly agreed upon. Now, the subsidiary issues in i'tiqad, there can be a little bit difference that you might see, but in reality, some scholars say that there isn't no difference in that, and Allah knows best. This is not our job; it's above our caliber, and we're not going to delve in that too deep. As far as the impermissible type, the ikhtilaf, they call it the ikhtilaf tadad. This is the ikhtilaf that is contradictory. This is the one which is not based really on any evidence. And this is why the scholars, they said that fiqh, mostly when you deal with fiqh, it deals with what we call dhan. Okay? It deals with what we call preponderant or speculative knowledge. It's not based off of truly much what's the name? As far as our brothers saying that if the brothers have made ijtihad, no, we don't believe that the brothers are mujtahidun. So we want to clarify that. The ijtihad we're talking about that the brothers can make is might be based off the ijtihads of a scholar that they're taking in that particular position who have reached that level to make ijtihad. So for example, they might come across something that there are scholars who say in the arena of dawah. And giving dawah, there's room for you to give dawah to people who are Sufis, the people who are that might be Kharijis, or people who might be different jama'at. There is room in there. So then it is upon the other side, our brothers, our Somali and them, to come down and sit with the brothers and say, okay, what is your evidence for this? How do you see this? Do you think it's better because the people might think this? And then I open up a room for a healthy discussion.
Or could the things go back to maslaha wa mafsada?
Exactly. Now, moving on, the Sheikh, he says, and I want to get to the nitty-gritty part because we can't do it all. Yeah. He said, at the end of this, he said, هذا هو ميزان الذي بين أيدينا. So we have a scale. Now, understand that we have a scale. This scale here is that how do we weigh our words and our actions when dealing with one another? Okay? We have to understand that that scale exists between what? Allah said and His Messenger.
No.
Allah said, meaning the Quran and the Sunnah of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. لم يكلنا الله لخلافة أو إلى رأي فلان وقول فلان. Look what He said. Allah did not leave us. He did not leave us to differ in opposition. He did not leave us to differ. Nor did He leave us into the opinion of so-and-so or the statement of so-and-so. La. Allah left us with Quran and Sunnah. Okay? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said what? وَلَقَدْ فَصَّلْنَا فِي هَذَا الْكِتَابِ Indeed, or فِي هَذَا الْقُرْآنِ. Indeed, we have explained everything inside the Quran. Okay? In detail. So Allah didn't just entrust us to ourselves. He didn't leave us to the scholars. He left us upon the kitab and the sunnah. The Shaykh continues. He said, بَالْ أُمِرْنَا بِأَن نَرْجِعَ إِلَى الْمِيزَانِ. Rather, He have commanded us that we return back when we have a dispute to the mizan. And what is the mizan? The two scales here is the kitab wa sunnah. Look what he say next. He said, فَمَنْ كَانَ مِنْ أَهْلِ الْعِلْمِ وَيَسْتَطِيعُ أَنْ يَعْرِفَ الرَّاجِحَ من المرجوح فإنه لا يسعه أن يأخذ قول على علته حتى يعرضه على كتاب الله وسنة رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. الله أكبر. He said, فَمَنْ كَانَ مِنْ أَهْلِ الْعِلْمِ. So whoever be from the people of knowledge, he might be a scholar, and he is able to recognize that which is more correct from the masail, the issues, right? From that which has been marjuh, that has been thought of being correct or weighty. That which they use, okay? He said, فَإِنَّهُ لَا يَسَعَهُ أَنْ يَأْخُذَ قَوْلَ عَلَى عِلَّتِهِ حَتَّى يَعْرِضَهُ عَلى كِتَابِ اللَّهِ وَسُنَّةِ اللَّهِ وَسَلَّمَ. Then this person, his statement is not to be what? It's not to be left. He's not to be left with his statement, meaning to take his statement upon that of his illat until to the point that it contradicts that of the book of Allah and the Sunnah of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And then he brings another point that reaches us. وَأَمَّا إِنْ كَانَ مِنَ الْعَوَّامِ أَوْ مِنَ الْمُبْتَدِئِينَ فِي طَالِبِ الْعِلْمِ. Yes, most of the people in front of you today, brothers and sisters, including me and Isa, we are from the beginning students of knowledge. Okay? Yes, Abu Hassan Malik have embarked upon studying knowledge way before probably me and the brother Isa. That's true. We're not going to deny that. Yes, Hassan Somali might have embarked upon studying a little bit of knowledge or went to go study before us. We're not going to deny that. This is something that we're not going to remove. Okay? However, that did not mean that we have moved from the realm of being beginner students. Why? Because out of me and Abu Hassan Malik and Hassan Somali, okay, there is a lot of stuff that we have not tadarruj on. And I can actually admit that about myself. There is stuff that we have not studied with scholars. I mean, I'm talking about tahsil ilm. We went through this science. We went through this science. We went through this science. La. Okay? So it must be understanding. He said, فَهَذَا يَسَلُ أَهْلَ الْعِلْمِ. So now, he said, it's incumbent upon the beginning students of knowledge, okay, what they have to do? They have to ask the people of knowledge. They are not the ones that are asked. Understand what he's saying here. They are not the ones that our questions are put forth to. They are the ones who what?
Yeah.
Have to ask the scholars. Okay?
Everybody's student knowledge on their level.
For Allah said, فَاسْأَلُوا أَهْلِ الذِّكْرِ إِن كُنْتُمْ لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. Ask the people of knowledge if you do not know. And then the Shaykh, he said, وَإِمَّا يُهَذِّرُونَ مِنْ أَقْدِ أَقْوَالِهِمْ بِدُونِ مَعْرِفَةَ لِلْدِيلِ. Brother Bilal, Bilal, Hakeem Davis, he is on part 4, brothers and sisters, and his doubts surround the dawah. And he's using a lot of athars to, to bring and to strengthen his point. But listen what Sheikh Fawzan is getting ready to say. In the doubts surrounding the dawah part 2 that our brother Abu Hakeem,
part 3 or part 2?
No, Abu Hakeem Bilal Davis, he brought was part 2. In part 2, he mentioned that the statements of the A'imma that we quoted in the principle, and we brought the statement of Imam Abu Hanifa, Imam Shafi, so forth and so on. He said that those statements were regarding what issue? The Sharia.
Yep.
You remember what he said? He said those statements are applied in where?
According to the Sharia.
The Sharia. Now look what Sheikh Fawzan about to use these statements. And what is this book, this poem is about?
Aqidah.
Aqidah. Brothers and sisters, this poem is about Aqidah. But our brother Bilal Davis had told us that these statements were used for what?
For fiqh only.
For fiqh. For the actions of the servants, not the belief. Again, I want y'all to pay attention. Look what he says.
They playing, man.
I want you to pay attention now. He said, Imam Ahmed, he said that the A'imma, the Imams, the one that we take as the Imams, the one that madhabs been made around them, okay, in their positions, in their stances, in their fiqh. He said that they have warned us. They have warned taking their statements without knowing their evidence.
Nah.
Biduni ma'rifat dalil. They have warned us, do not take their statements
without evidence.
Without knowing their evidence. Not just without evidence, without knowing their evidence.
Yep.
See this, brothers and sisters? So tell me right now, what scholar living today is going to agree and going to confirm if he's a scholar that adheres to Ahlul Sunnah wa Jama'ah, and he adheres to the Dawah to Salafiyah, and he's trustworthy, and he's upon and he's thicker, and he's strong and he's qawi, in his knowledge as well as in his implementation. You tell me which scholar today is going to be on another minhaj other than what they're saying here. He's going to want you to take his statements absolutely without knowing his dalil or without dalil. Show me what scholar is going to do that. And if a brother or a sister claim that, then you just disrespect that scholar. To tell me that Sheikh so-and-so want me to take his words absolutely, like they're the Quran and the Sunnah, because Allah said, Ati'u Allah wa Ati'u Rasul. Absolutely.
Yep.
So if you telling me to take Sheikh Rabi'ah's statement, no dalil, not knowing what is his dalil, then you are asking me to make the statement of Sheikh Rabi'ah on the same level of the statement of Allah and the statement of his messenger. You see, brothers and sisters, this how deep this go.
Nah. Because he didn't say Ati'u Allah, Ati'u Rasul, wa Ati'u ulama.
Look what he say. He continues. He said, Imam Malik, and we mentioned these statements before, but I want to mention one statement we didn't mention, inshallah ta'ala. Okay? And that's the statement of Imam Ahmed. He said, Ajibtu li qawmin. I am amazed with a people. Araful isnada wa sahhatahu. They know the isnad. Brothers and sisters, the isnad is the chain. Okay? That's where you see qala, haddathana, akbarana. It was related to us, reported to us. That's the chain. Okay? When it comes to a hadith, it got two parts. You got the chain, and then you're going to have the matan. Okay? So that's going to be the actual body of the hadith. Okay? So he said here, a person who knows the isnad. Why is he saying this? Because the person who knows the isnad, that means he knows the what? The rijal. And if he knows the rijal, the men, then 9 times out of 10, he's going to know that those men are going to be connected some way and somehow, if it's a hadith, to who? The Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You see? And he knows the authenticity of that particular isnad. Okay? He said, I'm amazed at these people who know this. But yet and still, yadabuna ila ra'i Sufyan. They go to the opinion of Sufyan. They know the isnad, they know the authenticity of the hadith, but yet and still they do what?
Yeah.
They go to who? To the opinion of Sufyan al-Thawri.
Yep.
Or the opinion of Sufyan al-Unayna. You see this? They go to the opinion of Athars. Well, Sheikh Imam Ahmed ibn Own, he was like this with the people of Bid'ah. Imam such and such said this. Imam Fulan said this.
Yeah.
Imam said this. This is how they act.
But really, it's just a control mechanism. It's just to control how you think and control the propaganda and control the narrative. That's all it is. Because the scholars are not saying that. Sheikh Fawzan and the other scholars that made, like Sheikh Loidan, when you read their statements about these issues, they're not saying what these brothers are saying.
Actually, this is not even disrespecting Sufyan.
No.
This is telling you that the hadith and the ayat of Allah Jalla wa Ala, the two primary sources for dalil, takes precedence.
Yeah.
You can't go to statement Fulan and Alan. We're going to finish it up. Alhamdulillah, he at the end of it. So he said at the end of this beautiful thing, alhamdulillah, he said, فلا قول لأحد مع قول رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم وواجب علينا عند اختلاف أن نرجع إلى الميزان وهذا من رحمة الله بنا أنه لم يكن إلى اختلاف وأقوال الناس وإنما أمرنا أن نزن أقوال بالكتاب والسنة. He says, so we don't pay attention to anyone's statement, meaning that we don't take his statement along with the statement of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We don't weigh them the same. It is obligatory upon us that when we have a dispute that we return back to the mizan, the scale, and that is a mercy from Allah to us, unto us, and that He have not left us to differ, nor to the statements or the opinions of men. وَإِنَّمَا أَمَرْنَا أَن نَزِنَ أَقْوَالَ بِالْكِتَابِ وَالسُنَّةِ. Rather, the only command is that we weigh the statements of people and the actions of people according to what? The book and the sunnah. وَهَذَا يَكُونُ لِلْعُلَمَاءِ. He said, and this is for the people of knowledge. وَأَمَا أَوَامْ فَعَلَيْهِمْ يَسْأَلُوا أَهْلَ عِلْمٍ. And he said, as for the people who are commoners, who are lay folk, then there is upon them to ask the people of knowledge, because Allah said, فَصَلُوا أَهْلَ الذِّكْرِ كُنتُمْ لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. فَيَسْأَلُوا عَامِي مَنْ يَثِقُ بِعِلْمِهِ وَدِينِهِ وَيَقُضُ بِقَوْلِهِ. So what do the commoner does? He asks one, meaning he asks a scholar who he deems who is trustworthy, right, with his deed, and he takes his statement. وَلِهَذَا يَقُولُونَ مَذْهَبُ عَامِ مَذْهَبُ مَنْ أَفْتَاهُ. So for this reason we see that they say that the methodology of the commoner is the methodology of the one who gave him a fatwa.
Yeah.
So in other words, brothers and sisters, a commoner falls under what we call the muqallid. Okay? A lay person falls under the blind follower scholar to some certain degree. Okay? We're not going to get into all the technical difficulties about blind follower being permissible or not. But that's there. Okay? Tayyib. Now. So now, he goes on. He said, فَهَذَا هُوَ الضَّابِطُ فِي هَذِهِ الْمَسَألَةِ. And this is the correct stance and the accurate stance in terms of in this issue. And then he finished it at the end. He said, as far as the newspapers and the journals and the different works and books that we have, all of them call to us to take the opinions of others and, توسيعة على الناس وأنهم إذا ردوا إلى الدليل فهذا حرج وضيق. And this is another doubt. This is an actual doubt, Bilal Davis. This statement here that he's getting ready to bring is a doubt. We call this doubts. Doubts that people try to put in the people's mind, that using and seeking for evidence is something that is strenuous or hard upon you. No, this is a doubt. The Shaykh said rather, this is not even just a doubt, it's kufr. If a person believes that the dalil is hard and strenuous upon him, this is disbelief. Why? Because the person who's saying this, he considers that to take the dalil, it will be difficult. And the one who issued this type of statement, Sheikh Fawzan said he's what? He's the one who has disbelieved. He said, really, taking the evidence is something that is a relief. It's not a difficulty. It is something that is easy and made by Allah Azza wa Jal. He said, فَهَذَا هُوَ كَلَامُ فِي مَسْأَلَةِ اخْتِلَافِ عُلَمَاء وَمَاذَا نَأْخُذُ مِنْ أَقْوَالٍ مُخْتَلِفَةٍ فَمَسَائِلٍ. He said, for this, we take the speech of the, this is the kalam in regards to the matter of difference that occur amongst the ulama, and whatever that we take from the different statements or the different opinions or different positions in regards to those masails. And he said at the end, at the nadam, he said, فَقَوْلُ رَسُولُ اللَّهِ وَسَلَّمَ أَزْكَى وَأَشْرَحُ. And he said, مُعْتَبِرُ قَوْلُ رَسُولُ اللَّهِ وَسَلَّمَ هُوَ الَّذِي أُمِرْنَا بِاتِّبَاعِهِ وَلَمْ نُمَرْ بِاتِّبَاعِ الرَّأْيِ وَالْأَقْوَالِ وَمِنْ يَهْدِرُونَ مِنْ هَذَا غَايَاتُ تَحْذِيرٍ. He says, so the consideration is always going to be given to the statement of the Prophet ﷺ. No matter whoever you be. House of Somali, if you tell me a statement, I don't care if you're reading from a book, I don't care if you're quoting someone, do not use statement to me, do not use statement to Brother Isa or to anyone, no matter if they be a lay person. Do not tell them, since when you ever know the Shaykh to be wrong in his refutations? Since when you ever know the Shaykh not to have dalil? Since when you're not going to respect your elders? Since when you're not going to take... No, I don't want to hear that. No. Tell me, what is the evidence for the statement of the sheikh?
Because I got you. Well, I got proof that when somebody was ever wrong in their refutation, the fact that he's from Bani Adam, that's the proof all you need. And he's not from the Anbiya or Mursalin. So there's no way that anybody on earth was never wrong in their refutation. That's impossible, akhi.
And on top of that, the only one that I can take his statement and without blinking my eye, that's Allah and His Messenger.
That's it.
Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If the hadith is authentic, you told me the source, and you say Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, and you can find this in Ibn Majah, or you can find this in Bukhari, I take that absolutely. I don't have to say, let me double check behind you, let me double think. I don't have to do that. But if you're going to tell me Sheikh Fulan said,
I got to double check that.
I'm going to have to double check that. And you shouldn't feel no type of way if I double check that. It's not meaning I'm going against so-and-so. Last but not least, he said that is more better. And then we're going to bring the proof that Aathars are not going to be considered. And we're not going to try to be long. We're going to end it with that. Our brother Isa, inshallah ta'ala, is going to bring the statement of Sheikh Uthaymeen into a famous explanation of a hadith terminology book, which is a beginner's book known as Mustalah al-Bayquniya. And he's going to explain when can we use the statement of a companion as a proof or dalil, or the statement of a tabi'i, or anyone like that, inshallah ta'ala.
Sheikh Uthaymeen, he begins, he says, meanwhile, the narration that is attributed to a companion is classified into two categories. The narration that is confirmed as being marfu', this is called al-marfu' hukman, meaning a companion says something that no doubt it had to come from the Prophet, like saying something about the angels or saying something about the unseen. We know he had got that from the Prophet. That's an example. The narration that is not marfu', this is called al-mawquf, right? Where it stops at a companion, right? Meaning the statement goes back to a companion, not to the Prophet. He said, as such, the Aathar, the plural Aathar, that were narrated from Abu Bakr and Umar or any other companions are called marquf. They're stopped or they're cut off. And this is not the correct terminology, right? And this is the correct terminology. And there is no argument about it. Though it is known that we may call marfu' narration al-mawquf due to it stopping at the Prophet ﷺ. So basically he's trying to say linguistically, saying something is mawquf, that it stops somewhere. That the statements that stop at the Sahaba is called mawquf. What he said linguistically, also some of the people of knowledge said it's about what stopped at the Prophet ﷺ is all called mawquf linguistically. But anyway, however, the aforementioned is the correct usage of the term in terms of mustalah. So in hadith science, mawquf means a statement that only went back to a companion, no matter which one it was. The scholars mentioned that the criteria for a narration to be termed out of marfu' hukman is the absence of the possibility for ijtihad, independent reasoning in this affair, an opinion in the subject matter, and it can only be taken from Islamic law.
Nah. Tayyib. So that you can see just a little bit of background on that. He's going to go right to the meat of it. For the sake of time. We can't read all of that. He's going to go to the meat of it. Whether or not you can take a statement of a companion to be the proof.
Tayyib. It says here, Sheikh Uthaymeen, he says, is the narration that is attributed to a companion but does not have the status of marfu' hukman. Again, marfu' hukman, meaning that a companion said something that is impossible that he may ijtihad in it. Meaning something about the unseen, something about the angels, something about Allah, paradise, hellfire. There's no ijtihad in that. There's no doubt. When he said that, he got that from the Prophet ﷺ, right? No. That's marfu' hukman. Consider as valid evidence in that. So then he's talking about the statements of the companions. That's not marfu' hukman, right? We say that the scholars have different opinion on this matter, right? Among them are those who said that it is considered as valid evidence, with the condition that it does not contradict any other religious text or companion, right? So if a statement of a companion, and it doesn't go against a text, right? That's a clear text in Quran and Sunnah, and there's no companion that differed with them, then you could take that as evidence. That's some of the scholars say that, right? That's the first one. If the narration contradicts a text, then that text is given precedence. So if a companion says something, but we have a hadith or an ayat that differs with him, we take the ayat and the hadith, not the statement of the companion. And if it contradicts other companions, then the correct opinion is taken. Meaning, if he just with another companion, we look into the affair.
And we weigh it. And see which one is closer to the truth.
To the Kitab and Sunnah.
Exactly.
And then we take the correct opinion. And there are those who said that the opinion of a companion is not valid evidence because he is a human being. And when he makes an ijtihad, he may be correct or wrong in his judgment. Right? So sometimes we forget that. We forget that a companion, because we don't understand how to use their statements. So if a companion says something, right, you say, okay, you got it. But for you find another companion different with them, now you got to go find out about that issue. If you can't do it yourself, go ask somebody of knowledge and say, listen.
Well, anyway, he's talking about scholars.
Talking about scholars.
Talking about the people of hadith.
Nah. There are also those who said that the violent evidences are those that come from the sayings of Abu Bakr and Umar. Because the Prophet said, follow the way of those after me, Abu Bakr and Umar. And he also said, if they were to abide by Abu Bakr and Umar, they will be guided. As for the rest of the companions, other than those two, their statements are not considered as violent evidence. They're considered not
so
violent
brothers
evidence.
and sisters, so that you can ride with us a little bit. Just picture this. Our brother Bilal Davis, you know, he had been using in his doubts surrounding the dawah, he'd been using a lot of Aathar. Likewise, you see that our brother Abu Hassan Malik, they tweet a lot of Aathar. We're not saying Aathars are bad. Don't ever get that from us. We're not saying that the Aathar, the Salaf, are bad. We're saying, brothers and sisters, that the Aathars have a context. You see? And they have a way to be used. This is why it's scholars who know how to use them better and apply them better than it is. Inshallah ta'ala. Continue.
He says, the opinion, Shaykh Uthaymeen continues, rahimahullah, the opinion which is most manifest to me, himself, Shaykh Uthaymeen,
it's his opinion,
is the saying of the companions is considered as violent evidence if he's amongst the people of knowledge from amongst the companions.
Meaning the people of fiqh and ahlu ilm. Yep, fiqh wa ilm.
If he is not, then that goes to show that every companion was not considered to be a scholar.
Naam.
That's what it's showing you too. That also shows you that. If he is not, then it is not violent evidence, because some of the companions came to the Prophet ﷺ and heard from him some of the laws of the Sharia, but they were not from the scholars or the knowledgeable amongst the companions. Thus, their speech would not be regarded as violent evidence.
No, the statements will not be used as evidence. Alhamdulillah.
And this is the moderate opinion among them all. And it is the correct opinion in this matter. What would be the ruling of saying of a tabi'i if he were to say that such and such is from the sunnah? It is considered out of marfu' hukman or not? Now he's going to a tabi'i, a student of a companion, says, this is from the sunnah, and this is from the sunnah, right? If he says that, is this considered to be marfu' hukman, raised to the level
the Prophet
to the Prophet ﷺ? Is it can this statement go back to the Prophet ﷺ
or to the actual companion? But you got to take consideration. Remember, there is a gap, there is a breakage there.
Yep.
When the tabi'i said it, he wasn't doing the time of the Prophet ﷺ.
So it's a breakage.
So they're going to have a different opinion concerning
they met the companions, not the Prophet ﷺ.
Exactly.
We say that the scholars of hadith have differing opinions on this matter. There are those who said that is regarded as mawquf and not from the classifications of marfu'. Some of the scholars, they say that the statement of a tabi'i, if he said this is from the sunnah or that is from the sunnah, it's mawquf, meaning it stops at a tabi'i, right? Or it stops at the companion that he got it from, right? He says, because the tabi'i did not live during the era of the Prophet ﷺ. So where he got his information from had to be a companion, right? Due to this reason, we're unable to say that when he states sunnah, he is referring to the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. In fact, there's the possibility that he meant the sunnah of the companions.
Nah. So we understand that a tabi'i statement in of itself, it can be two understandings from it. One, is he talking about when he says something is the sunnah, it can be the sunnah of the companions or the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. And if it's the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, meaning that he got it from a companion, which he say later on, which we're not going to have time to go into all of that, inshallah ta'ala, we just wanted to bring the point that the scholars of hadith, the way that they view the statements of the Salaf, the companions and the tabi'i, and those that's after them. Because our beloved brothers, somehow, they seem to think that our examples only come from the Aathars. And this is a big mistake, because in those Aathars, you got to understand that there are certain things that took place.
No.
First of all, you're talking about scholars who was in those Aathars. And you're talking about they was living in a time where there might have been people that was doing all types of atrocities, that was committing all types of things in deviation in belief.
They was watching bit. I had it right in front of them.
Right in front of them.
Scholars, the people in the nation were scholars too, though.
Exactly, and that's another thing that brothers don't take consideration. Shaykh Islam and Taymiyyah, in a lot of his works, he mentioned that honestly that you hear him sometimes talking to deviants who were real strong in Arabic language. They were scholars. They had a command of the Arabic language. They wasn't just people who like us. Okay, we even if by far we're foreigners, so a lot of us still be deficient in Arabic. That don't mean just because we foreigners we deficient. You got a lot of people who are foreigners are strong, but they was also strong in fiqh.
Exactly.
Some of them were strong in fiqh. Some of them were strong in other areas in Islam. And they still have made mistakes and blunders in i'tiqad. And the Sheikh was able to deal with them. But not like how we see today. Do you believe that our brother Shadid, that our brother Ali, that our brother Mufti, that our brother Tahir, that all of these particular brothers, Abu Sam, all of these individuals, you believe that they somehow now, their statements are like the statements compared to the people of deviation? I mean, in the past?
Like Ma'bad Juhayni and people like that?
Do you think that this was something that was understood? Huh?
And what we get from Sheikh, what they mean that they use these Aathar. It's Mawkuf, it's Marfu Hukm, all these, Mawkuf, it's statements of Tabi'een, statements of, it has protocol. These are the laws, protocols of Salafiyya, really. Because you can't just use them like that. You got to know the background to it. You got to know how it was used, when it was said, what was going on when it was said. And the scholars know how to apply these things and where to apply them. That's why you don't find them using Aathar all the time. Because the only time you find a scholar using Aathar is when it's needed to be used and the situation fits it in its totality.
And they use it as a strengthening point.
Not the first thing.
It's not evidence. They use it to strengthen the point or further strengthen the point of the evidence that they bring in. They don't say, I'm going to isolate this Aathar and base myself around it. And sometimes we find a lot of people, and this falls back to what Sheikh Al-Albani said, and I'm going to, and inshallah ta'ala, I'm going to leave it at this, and our brother Isak, inshallah ta'ala, might have something to say.
No.
But this goes back, and I said this before, this goes back to what Sheikh Al-Albani, rahmatullah alayhi, what he said about the youth. He said that we find that the youth are very eager and they're actually waking up. Alhamdulillah. And they want to cling firmly to the Quran and the Sunnah and the Fahm Salaf. That's what we find from them. But they are also hasty. He mentioned that they're also hasty. Why? Because what the students do, they don't know the issue in detail, so they don't know how to apply it. And I'm going to give you an example. This is what he said, not my words. He gave us the example of the man who came in the masjid during the time of Imam Malik. And he asked him about the istawa. He said, Kayfa istawa. They gave him this, they mentioned to him, they said, Kayfa istawa. He said to Imam Malik. Imam Malik, brothers and sisters, he put his head down for a long time. Okay, they don't tell you how long actually. And beads of sweat start to come down. He lifted his head up. Brothers and sisters, and the fact that Imam Malik put his head down for that long, and he was contemplating, the sweat came down, he came back up. He wasn't quick to answer nothing. Even though what the brother was asking, okay, might have been known, but he wasn't quick to answer. He was a scholar. He had to look at the situation and apply it. Now look what he says after that. He comes and he says that he lifted his head up, he said, as for istawa, then it is ma'ruf or ma'loom. It is well known. Why is it well known? Meaning it's well known with the people of Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah. That the creed, its meaning is well known. He said, "Wa su'alu," he said, "Wa kayfiyya majhul." And to ask how, okay? He said to ask how, this is unknown. It's only known to Allah. He said, "Wa su'alu anhu bid'ah." And to ask about it is innovation. No. To ask about it is innovation. Then he ordered, brothers and sisters, that this man be kicked out of the masjid. Sheikh Al-Albani comments. He said, brothers and sisters, why do you think that Imam Malik ordered that the man be thrown out of the masjid? He said, because during the time of Imam Malik, it was already the Aqeedah of Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah was well known. And that at this time, this man was bringing in questions that can cause doubt into the hearts of the people and cause them to what? To go astray.
And he was known for those doubts too.
Exactly. And so he kicks them out. So Sheikh Al-Albani continues. He said, now, brothers and sisters, if this same scenario was to take place during our time, if this same scenario was to take place during our time, brothers and sisters, what will we do? If this same scenario was taking place during our time, he said, Sheikh Al-Albani continues, he said, will we kick the person out? He said, most likely no. He said, why wouldn't we kick him out? Because it might not be well known. Shadid Muhammad is talking to people who don't know about Aqeedah. You got people who's in Shahr Sunnah class, which they shouldn't be learning that book at all right now. Without a scholar. Because they have certain books they have to. You got people in these type of classes that when you ask them about La ilaha illallah, they can't explain La ilaha illallah straightforward to you. I'm talking about with conviction. They can't explain La ilaha illallah to you with conviction. So how much more so you're going to start telling them about intricate situations dealing with i'tiqad, belief, I'm going to tell you about astronomy. I'm going to tell you about the Nujum,
or
stars.
or the Qaramiyya, or the Qadariyya. They never gonna meet any of these groups.
I mean, well, it's a time in their studies that they do have to learn about this. I'm in agreement.
Not now, though.
It's a time in their studies that they do going to have to learn about this. Do the people innovation need to be learned about?
Yeah.
Yes. Do they need to be warned from? Yes. I'm not going to never go against that. But it's a time that you do that. And that's why you take the people by the hand like the ulama. Mm-hmm. And this is why you brothers was made to sign that agreement. So that you can use the ulama as that way of leading you. Inshallah ta'ala. But brothers and sisters, we have to remember what Sheikh Al-Albani said. We can't be gun-ho. And we can't allow ourselves to big up people above their status.
Nah. And I'm going to say this. A video was put out. Our brother Abu Zayd was on the video. And they had him saying some things about that Allah, that Allah has placed us upon you or sicked us on you. And they used this. And after the end of the video, they put the hadith of the Rabidah there. This is a hukum. This is a ruling that you're placed on, my brother. Now let's take you back to the agreement. Number one, according to the agreement, Hassan or whoever did it, all you guys, are you allowed? Were you allowed according to this agreement? And are you somebody that's suitable to place that type of ruling on it? Because the Rabidah in this hadith, the Prophet didn't name the Rabidah. So now you saying that the brother fits the conditions, or I fit the conditions of a Rabidah. You placed the hukum when Muhammad ibn Hadi told you you're not allowed to do that, and you signed your name on that you would not do anything like that. So again, you're breaking the contract.
Also, last but not least, brothers, there are some who might have the doubt that the agreement was back done in 2005. So some people might say that was a long time ago. 2005 was a long time ago. Maybe, but we still need evidence that that agreement was dissolved.
Yep.
We need to know if that contract was dissolved. And if they have evidence that the contract was dissolved, then they need to bring it forth. If they don't have evidence that the contract was dissolved, then we're going to still go by that.
Yep.
And that the individuals are still held and binded by that agreement. And last but not least, the brother Hassan Somali, he had mentioned about a day before last or night before last in his class. And I know a lot of people say, well, you get on these videos, why don't you go up there and talk to the guy? And he mentioned that he want to buy a plane ticket for us to go see the shuyukh. First, we want to mention this. Somali, the people might not know, but most of the students, they understand that you have been ducking. And I'm going to say this literally and clearly because this is the truth and I'm not slandering you. You have been ducking the calls of Sheikh Muhammad ibn Hadi for about 3 years now. You have not picked up the phone to speak to Sheikh Muhammad ibn Hadi for about 3 years. So we're not going to use it like you want us to go see Sheikh Muhammad ibn Hadi. Henceforth, you would have been called the Sheikh. All of this going back on, you wouldn't have been like crickets in your class. Y'all wouldn't have been cutting out eyes, blurring faces. Y'all would have been went and got the scholars, have y'all can do so. Okay? Number two, if you really want to go back, then let's take the advice of Sheikh Suleiman Nurahili. If you want to go talk to the scholars about this issue, and all of us sit down and present, then we're going to go to neutral scholars that you do not favor and that we do not favor. And we're going to go to those scholars and let them tahakam, as you well eloquently put, and let them judge. Okay? Whether they be the Legend Daima, whether it be Sheikh Fawzan, Sheikh Luhaydan, whether it be any of those scholars, the senior scholars, we'll let them deal with the issues. And our issues, brothers and sisters, is one, can you brothers present the evidence that all of these brothers that you're talking about are deviants? And do you have the evidence that they are deviants and have left the fold of Salafiyah? And two, if also can you produce the evidence for us that whoever associate with these brothers and whoever deal with these brothers are deviant also by association? Bring us that proof. And this is what we asking for, inshallah ta'ala. Also, brothers and sisters, there was some information that was mentioned. And I definitely want to mention that the brother remind me that the information about Somali having a drone during the time of the Eid, alhamdulillah, the information didn't reach me with clarity of the situation, but it still was true to some extent. With the brother left out that told me about the information, he left out the fact that there was another guy who actually had got the drone. He was a Muslim, he was there, and he allowed Somali and them to use the drone. But when he asked Somali about the drone, Somali said, that'll be about that's us. That's us. The drone is there because about us. So I understood from the brother's statement that he was saying that Somali was the reason for the drone. But in reality it wasn't. Also, so we want to clear that up. And secondly, inshallah ta'ala, Somali denied the fact that the coffee shop is his. And either way, inshallah ta'ala, like we said, when we mention the things about the money and so forth and so on, we do have the documents. Some brothers we sent the documents to. We're going to place the documents up. Just give me time to get to the PDF and post them up so y'all can see the documents of SPUBs. We do have the financial records for that, and we told you some other financial records we're going to send up that were not claims. As far as the Jamil Finch situation consideration, a lot of brothers keep asking us, oh, what is your proof? What is your proof that these guys came down here? What is your proof this, and that? Number one, we're going to say this. We already stated in the video, if you listen to us, if Jamil Finch did not send them directly, okay, then we believe that he might have an influence, so and so on that. Or their strong connection or feeling that they have for the brother allow him to do it. So and to us, in some way, he played that part. So we want to declare that up. And like we said, we don't have no problem standing in front of Allah Jalla wa Ala and standing in front of you people as well, making sure we clear up the retractions.
And on top of that, I apologize on live camera if my brother felt annoyed by me mentioning his children. Again, I'll say if my brother was annoyed, may Allah forgive me and forgive him. And I'll apologize to the brother again on live television. We have no problem with recanting anything and saying that if I wronged my brother, I apologize. Not like the other side. We're going to apologize. You know what? Because at the end of the day, this is not about fame. This is not about defaming. This is not about fighting our brothers. This is about standing up for Islam. And Islam is more beloved to me than any Muslim on earth. So that's just the bottom line.
Yeah, but bottom line, I'm not going to change my stance.
No.
I believe when the brother made that statement, he made that statement in well context.
Exactly.
And I believe that it needs to be understood that the brother, I don't believe that the brother Jamil Finch is mad about that, about his kids. Really, I really believe he's mad at the fact that it's been exposed, and that's what we're going to stick to. We're not going to change that stance.
No, we're not changing that stance.
We believe that it's double standards, inshallah ta'ala.
And no doubt about it.
Inshallah ta'ala, we're not changing that stance, inshallah. Barakallahu feek. Whatever we said that was incorrect in our translation, it was definitely for myself and Shaitan. Whoever says correct for Allah Jalla wa Ala. Stay tuned, brothers and sisters, for the next night show. Inshallah ta'ala, we got some good treats coming on. Maybe some shuyukh. It'll be coming in the air, inshallah ta'ala, soon. Very soon, inshallah. Jazakallah khair.